Good morning and welcome to your daily game face. I am Dr. Kim Lannon. I am back after a week of Thanksgiving illness
Ongoing.
and ongoing for the 3.5 week in a row. But here I am. I did not have a voice last week, so apologies to everyone that was calling and texting and being like, "Where's your podcast this week?" I'm like, "Well, I had no voice. I woke up last Wednesday and was like, I can't talk." And
Thank
now
you for not coming into the studio, by the way.
you what?
Thank you for not coming into the studio. That's the
You're very
last
welcome.
thing I need.
I know I have not come in since I've been sick, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Because I consider it, but I'm not like contagious, supposedly. I don't have anything specific. I have just that respiratory thing. Now I don't have RSV, but I have asthma. As everyone knows, I have asthma, so I get a cold and it can just holds on with a cough. So it's just the cough. Look at me. It's just the cough. It's annoying. It's annoying
Okay.
to me and annoying to the world around me, as I was telling you before we went on.
Are you cough sore? Have you got that soreness?
I did. Now I'm just cough ache back.
Yeah.
Cough ache chest, cough ache ribs.
Yep.
I had a massage just by the way, it's very important to do during the holidays. Get massages. We'll talk about that today. But I had a massage and and it was great. And then it lasted like, a hot second before I went right back to because I'm coughing. And so my back went right back to
Let me give you my advice. NyQuil.
There's a cough.
NyQuil, lots of it.
Yeah, no. Even with cough medicine, it didn't even help me. I'm a big.
No, NyQuil just puts you to sleep. Forget the cough medicine. Who cares?
There you go. Well, I'm not going to profess that. Thank you.
Okay, it's fine.
But anyway,
non-professional opinion.
And you're not. Yes, thank you for your non-professional opinion. So anyway, so I didn't get to start off the whole holiday air quoting season with talking about how to handle the life stressors of the holiday season. So, but that's okay, because in the year of you and the day of you and the month of you and December of 2025, here we are, our first week of December, going into the rolling new year of 2026, because we've been living every day as we're supposed to, in the moment and with intention and with the intention of you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have to do the month of December, not losing any steam and going right into the new year with the same thing. I just have a cat just jump behind me, so you might eventually see her.
Right.
And so we're going into the new year, but as I've said, we are not doing it like we always have done in the past, or we haven't, but people do, is that we're not just waiting till January 1st to start something. The whole year of you concept is that we're just building small wins, stacking them, and then moving into the next moment. So it doesn't become like a reset or a renew. It's more like keep going forward. And so it's kind of like a marathon. Yay. Like that little entry there, because we're coming into marathon season, just so we know.
Already.
Yes, we are. I know, right? Isn't it crazy? So, go Patriots, by the way.
I know, right?
I know. Yeah.
I'm trying to contain myself. I'm getting so excited.
Patriots, baby.
Yeah.
We are back in a big way. Mike Vrabel, yay! So, which, yay! See cattail, yay!
Yep.
Anyway, so since we sort of missed the thankfulness piece, I wanted to do an anonymous shout out to the fact that I don't know if it was my show that prompted a particular person who is probably listening to write me a beautiful letter of gratitude. But I got this beautiful letter of gratitude when I came home in the mail, a handwritten. Now, how rare! Remember we've talked about how rare these are. I got this, and I don't know if it was the show that prompted it last time or just on his own, but I got this wonderful letter from a person, not a client, but just a person out in the world that listens and that I know I can say is not the stalker.
Okay, good.
Not the stalker type, which is good. But it was really nice. And I had a couple other people mention like the gratitude pieces. And I was floored. So I don't know if that's what prompted it, but if not, or if so, thank you so much, because what a world of difference it makes. You do things for 30 something years. And as I said, getting gratitude is, it's wonderful.
Yep.
Yes, it is time that they go to the top, Nancy. Nancy just said it's time
I
they go
know
to
there are preschoolers who haven't seen a Super Bowl championship, so we got to
I
fix
know.
it.
I know. So anyway, so thank you. So gratitude for Thanksgiving. That's what I was going to say. And for Thanksgiving. So anyway, so now we're on to
It's
here we are.
amazing. It's amazing how powerful that kind of thing is, and it's not that it takes a little effort. It's just like it doesn't cost any money, and it's just taking a moment, but it's extremely powerful.
The attitude of gratitude is so much more important, and at least for me, and what it does for my whole like physicality, my spiritual, my level of anxiety, if you want to call it, my, just my whole overall being. And people, human beings, just thrive in those circumstances when they get appreciation. And that doesn't mean praise and not being humble. It's more about getting the gratitude attitude. And it's hard to come by some of these days. And just when you get it, it's really appreciated. And I value it. And it's better than, getting a box of chocolates or flowers or, a dinner or a bottle of wine or trinket or something like that. It's just way nicer. So when it's like that, it is. I mean, not to say that things aren't nice, but
Yeah.
I like that. It was wonderful. So anyway, so now that we're in December, and here we are in the holiday season, and people are scrambling. And my schedule is tighter than ever because did you know? I always do the statistics at December time. 64% of people living with mental health disorders in the country, in the United States, feel that their conditions worsen in this month, just
Yeah,
in this month alone. So 64%. And I think that's on the low side.
I think so too.
I think 64% is an undershot of that. So,
Well, I
and
get stressed out. I get totally stressed out.
and people do, whether you celebrate Christmas, whether you celebrate, Kwanzaa or I just Hanukkah.
Hanukkah,
This was like, what else do people celebrate? It's just the season, and it's just people in
Festivus.
general and the stressors, right? So, and I think either last year or the year before, the APA, the Psych Association that I obviously am with, this is, I think, a more accurate number in terms of like its top number. 89% of U.S. adults feel stressed out during the holiday season, with
Yeah,
41% of them reporting higher stress levels compared to any other time of the year. I think that's a pretty accurate number because this month is such an intense month because it has physical illness that comes, depression and anxiety, substance misuse, huge because of all those things. And, it's like chicken or egg, which comes first, or they both
yeah.
go together. And the reasons for all of those things coming up this month are people run out of time, mismanaged time, financial pressures get huge.
Mhm.
It's like the worst case scenarios come up, like my boiler's going in my house. So of course, right now, today, heating system people are here doing the work, right? Because of course, it's December 3rd. Why not? Christmas time, right? It's gift giving time, and then family gatherings, and
Right.
then and then add in whatever else you can think of, right? But those are like the main things, right? And um, so it's important that people, recognize that this is a time of year that you have to still keep moving forward, but you have to also take some actions to not let yourself get pulled in by this so that you protect yourselves and what you can do about these things. So I've had, for some reason, I'm not sure why, maybe, I don't know, I could name a variety of reasons, but I've had a few people, at least a few people this in the past month talk about lacking the holiday spirit more than normal. So a few people more than normal. And when people are being surrounded a lot by being cheerful and they're supposed to be, and you should be cheerful, and it's that time of year, and there's the song, and it's very stigmatizing when you don't feel the same level of enthusiasm as others, and then you feel down. So the pressure to be social and happy and
Yeah.
present makes it really difficult when other people are feeling that way and you don't feel that way. So then you feel like left out of the holiday spirit, and you know you may not want to be displaying them. So what I tell people to do with that as the first thing is recognize that you don't have to force yourself to be happy. Yes, fake it till you make it sometimes, obviously, if you're in social situations because you're in there, but you don't have to force yourself to do things. But it's good to acknowledge that you have the feelings, that aren't necessarily as joyful as the next person next to you, but remember that you're not alone in feeling this way. And that's one of the things I hear a lot is people will say, I'm the only one. I don't want to let people know. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't feel this way. Well, it would be nice that you didn't feel that way, but if you do, don't do the I shouldn't feel this way because that's how you feel. So don't deny the feeling.
Part of
Uh,
the pressure though, because you just feel like you're dragging everybody else down. It's like
well, that's
everyone
and
gets so excited about it, and you're like, "Oh god, no, I hate this season."
all right, and that's the thing. And if you have like a whole bunch of stressors around you, you have to be able to, and I'm going to talk about those. You have to be able to really limit them back. And obviously, boundary setting that we've been talking about as the key. I think the key factor that's come out of this year alone has been people learning just to set their boundary for themselves, and that makes life a lot better, as opposed to setting it on other people or doing other things as strategies. Boundary setting for yourself is important. So, and I'm going to talk about that in general throughout the podcast, which is saying no. You know,
I
my thing, no is a full sentence with a period, exclamation point, or whatever. What?
think carving out for yourself a little bar humbug time is good, and that's about setting personal boundaries too. Just even if it doesn't necessarily have to be with other people, just set aside some time for yourself to be what you need to be.
Yeah, exactly. Which is one of the strategies for all the things of obviously, that you can understand how to be is do that for yourself. It's important also, I think, to understand your triggers for holiday angst, and that know your own because everybody's are a little bit different. So oftentimes memories, stressful patterns that seem to occur every holiday are really present, and potential new crises come up as triggers, or family members are specific triggers. And so when you're around that, when I'm talking about just like the holiday spirit thing, is making sure that if possible, even though you said take some bah humbug time and go away from it, you also, for a lot of people that are sort of alone and feeling lonely, if possible, surround yourself with people who you know feel similar. And there are people out there to identify. I mean, there are if you go to a church, if you belong to a club, if you belong to a gym, I mean, people get together and do things, because they feel similar, and they will create like Friendsgiving. That's how Friendsgiving came
Yeah.
about, is for people exactly in this position, and trying to do that around like any of the holidays that you celebrate, right? So, but really finding out what your triggers are, because memories and stressful patterns are a big piece of that. And talking about memories, holidays bring up grief and loss for people because it's oftentimes for people that have lost someone or a fur baby, or something has happened during the year that has been like an anniversary date kind of thing
Yeah.
that will come up um, if they haven't been through the first year without the thing or the person, then it can be a time of grieving and loss and trauma
Right.
and increased loneliness. And so it can be easy to compare your situation to others, which then increases the feelings of loneliness and sadness. Like, I'm not like them, or they don't understand because they haven't experienced it. Like, people do a lot of that social norming comparison, which is usually inaccurate because a lot of people are in this position. And by a lot, I mean a lot. So take time to really check in with yourself and have realistic expectations for how the holiday season will be. People get so caught up, and if you've gone back to years gone by in my podcast, you've heard me talk about how people get so into the expectations
Yeah.
of what this month is supposed to be like. um and if you're dealing with grief and loss, you won't deal with your circumstances as well if you don't just kind of give yourself the attitude of permission and gratitude and compassion for yourself, that it doesn't have to be this thing. So many people are raised with social norms that the holidays are supposed to be these decked out tables and all
Yeah.
these decorations, and no offense to Martha Stewart, but Martha Stewarty and the whole thing, and it doesn't have to be that way. And you have to give yourself some grace around that overwhelming feeling that can come up, whether you're feeling great grief or loss of something. But you have to be able to give yourself some grace around that. Um,
That
so
you just hit upon the key word, which creates a lot of stress, and it's expectations, and it's internal expectations about what you think it should be for yourself. But a lot of times people pass those expectations on to somebody else. Make
right,
Christmas special for me. Give it a good present, or make a great meal, or entertain my parents. Well,
exactly.
whatever it is, that expectations get passed on, and that creates stress for other people.
And it oh gosh, there's so many scenarios that you just brought up there that are just like they're just those are like the common ones, right?
Yeah.
That are socially normed into us that you think you're supposed to, or it's been told that you're supposed to, and then you're supposed to live up to that when you don't have to do that. Holiday observances end up seeming very inauthentic because when you're forcing to celebrate or you're forcing all of that stuff, then you're not in touch with yourself, and you're going to be exhausted. You're going to be more prone to, obviously inflammation in the body, inflammation in the stress system. You're not going to feel good. And, and if you don't have a good support system around you, which a lot of people don't, and especially when it falls on a lot of holiday stuff often falls on one person in a family. Um, and they won't reach out for help from other people because they don't want to bother them. They don't want to burden them. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to seem like they don't have it handled. That's the worst thing you can do, is not like either let stuff go or reach out to other people to, do things to help you, or also to just say, I'm not going to do that this year. Like right now I'm toggling in my head, right? Usually I'm ahead of the game with a Christmas card, right?
Yeah.
It's December 3rd. I haven't even done them yet. I haven't even had a chance to. I've barely thought about it, and last night I went to do it, and I was like, "Eh." I was like, "Ugh, it's just
Yeah.
another thing right now." And I'm thinking, well, I could do one for, New Year's. You know how it's like the New Year's card. I'm like, "Oh god." It's not a lot of effort, but it's just another thing, and it's like, do I want to? Yes. Do I need to?
It's
No.
not the
And it's
amount
like,
of effort; it's the amount of obligation. It just puts another
right.
obligation on you.
Right. And there's been years where I have not done them, and I think after the first time I did it, I had a couple people say, "Oh, I didn't get a Christmas card from you this year." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't do them." And it was like, okay, it wasn't the end of the world, but I was trained, like many people are, is like, if you don't send it out, there's something wrong with you. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't need to send out a Christmas card. I'll let you know. I'll send you a text. I'll send you a Christmas text, on Christmas Day."
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those things, so, but I think so often people want to help you, but don't know where to do that. And also, if you're a person that has been I hate to use the word control freaky about things because you want it to be a certain way or else it falls apart. It's like, you got to realize that it's just another day. That's one of the things that, when I was growing up, that my dad would always say. My mom is very much like that about, has to be this way. It has to be this way. And, you know, I was an only child. So
Yeah.
we did always celebrate with another family, but it was still the same thing. But my dad would be like, it's just another day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this, thing. So, so that, making sure that you understand that, if you have these things going on, you recognize them and know that you don't have to go over the top, even though that's hard. You have to give yourself permission to do that. Um, that goes to like my third point about feeling pressured to participate in activities and want no part of them. you
Yep.
know, Christmas parties and events and gatherings and stuff, right? So, you all have your personal history with holidays. We all do. We all have our baggage to them, right? We dream about the ways the holidays they were supposed to be, the ways that they um, should have been, could have been. When you get that mindset going, which most people do, I mean, people just are reflective of this time of year because this is that time of year to come into the new year. And that's why it's like, I'm saying, like, let's keep moving forward and not do it as like this end point and start point. It's more about, this is the reflective, ruminative time of year. So people feel pressured, hold cough, sorry, people feel pressured to live the dream of what things are supposed to be, so I
Yeah.
always liken it to, if you've ever seen Christmas Vacation and Clark Griswold is up in the attic and he's watching the old time tapes of how it was, and he's got the tear dripping down his eye, and then he falls through the ceiling because she takes him down through the stairs. But um, it's kind of like a shock of reality. She's like, snap out of it, but it's sort of tongue in cheek, but it's like snapping out of that whole perspective,
Right.
because it's a dangerous perspective to get caught in, of the ruminations of times gone by, and wanting to do it all and aim to
Chances
solve.
are you're romanticizing them too.
Yeah, it's that
Yes.
unrealistic. That's a great word. It's romanticizing this unrealistic expectation for yourself and others, and what you get. We've done this whole thing. I've done this whole thing on narcissism. Like, you get narcissistic people in families, and it's like a whole thing about um, expectations of, entitlement of how much they deserve to get and how much they spend. And if you don't spend this amount, I'm not spending that amount, and it has to match. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's just, yeah.
We
So
get indoctrinated too. I mean, I always laugh about how, and this is, I'm going to show my age here. I always laugh about how my impressions of marriage came from the Dick Van Dyke Show, and it's like, serving dinner in pearls and high heels and stuff like that. And it's like we get indoctrinated into Christmas above all else, all the Christmas movies, all the stuff, how it's supposed to be, and it's like
right.
it's not like that, and it doesn't have to be like that for everyone to be happy.
Well, and that's the thing, is like, is taking the, I call it the lyrical license, right? Don't take the lyrical license of all the hype of Christmas, of what the movie's supposed to look like. Make it your own. But it's hard for people, because by the time they get to understand this concept, they're already so indoctrinated into it. It's, here we are, right? So, I think what you can do about, like, when you feel pressure and not wanting to participate in those kinds of things, or to have the expectations meet them all, you have to accept where you want to say no. You have to accept your limitations and be patient with others too, because people have that excitement, or they have their thoughts, but just accept where you are at. It comes back to the year of you. Be where you are at.
Yep.
You can try to see other people's points of views and recognize what, they're feeling, and that they're probably a little stressed too, and they have excitement and they have their thoughts, and just prioritize what's most important to you. Prioritize, um, you know, how much is realistic? It goes back to all the things I've been saying all year. Realistic, rational. Is it reasonable? Um, can you make a Christmas party on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday night? Are you going to be exhausted by the time Monday comes? Don't overcommit on that, and just because you think you're obligated and you didn't really want to go in the first place. So you got to prioritize that word today. Is, the most important activities, and schedule those kind of get-togethers for maybe after the holidays. People are always like floored, like that's such a novel idea. It's really not, and it's not
Uh,
mine.
that's
It's
my
like,
big thing. And it's like fortunately, grew up. Well, I didn't grow up this way, but in my family, my first family with the kids, I established this. That, your birthday, we don't have to celebrate on your birthday. We can celebrate on the weekend afterwards. It's not about the day. It's about the event.
right.
It's about celebrating whatever the event is. Doesn't have to be that day, but so many people get caught up into, no, we're going to celebrate on a Tuesday night. No, let's wait till
Uh-huh.
Saturday.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
and I'm of the mind that whatever is the most convenient and makes it the least stressful, then that's what you do. And at the end of the day, you have to take your own responsibility and accountability for yourself of what you need for you. And you can't force people to do something, and you can't be forced into it either. You accept it and say yes. And that's the thing, is if you're saying yes and you're feeling overwhelmed, but you're still saying yes to these social obligations, you have to become comfortable with saying no, so that you can then say, I can do it in January.
Yeah.
I've already got two things obligated in January, because I already knew. I was like, there's no way I can do that in December. Zero way. Zero way. Like, I actually could, right? And there's the thing, like, I use the personal example. I could
Yeah.
do it, but it will make me cuckoo,
But
because
having some prior, we use the word again, prioritizing yourself and your own needs a little bit. It doesn't have to overwhelm everything, but it needs to be recognized to an extent.
And to a larger extent, so that you put in what's the most important things, right? So like if you have, like, I made sure, so for instance, how many weekends before Christmas? 3, right? So you've got this weekend and 2 more, and then it's Christmas. God, it's so crazy, right? Or you got, and Hanukkah, I think, is a little bit earlier this year, so people have,
14th, yeah.
yeah, so it's a little bit earlier, so they've got even less time if they're celebrating Hanukkah. And Kwanzaa, I think, is after. So I know, like, I have patients that are all over the map on these things. So, well, you're so funny. You're like, you know. Well, I try to make sure I get
I thought you were
all.
gonna say you know somebody who celebrates Kwanzaa, and I go, "Okay,"
Okay,
because
I do.
I
I
don't.
actually.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, so, but it's just that, so the timing, and so you made me lose my train of thought. God
I'm
darn it
sorry.
all!
I'm sorry.
You and
All I
your.
did was nod.
I no, you did like an eye roll. You. Um, so I know what I was saying. So it's like priority, so like I made plans a year ago for something already that took up one of my weekends because I wanted that to be most important. And that's most important. And then I try to leave almost a whole weekend of availability of where I'm not committed to anything before Christmas except to myself and my house, my own things, what I want, like what I'm doing. And then there's one in between that's like the sort of the middle ground, right? So I've learned over the years to kind of split it out so that I'm able to say no to things. And that's how I ended up pushing 2 things out already. And there's going to be more things in January to push out because I can't, well, I could. I'm not going to do them
Yeah,
because I'm not going to overextend myself because I know what it does to me. And then that makes me crazy.
yeah, and you're already 6.
And I don't say that with disrespect.
Yeah,
I say it with just like tongue in cheek. So, but going back to expectations, because it's the big word here. Expectations to celebrate the holidays in a specific way also bring up old traumas for people with family conflict.
yeah,
And you family conflict is one of the biggest things I talk about this month with people, is that how to plan for your season by outlining it with your events that are coming up if they have to do with family that has trauma involved with it. And again, not a novel idea and certainly not my own, but I capitalize on it all the time, is that, and I think hopefully most therapists will capitalize on this too, is that just being able to say no to family events sometimes is fine. And
yep,
people get so freaked out by that concept that if they say no, that somehow there's going to be this awful, terrible, like I call it, are you going to burst into flames, spontaneous combustion event?
yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, if you say no, what's gonna happen? If there's already a conflict and you say no, what so? Was it gonna add a little bit more fuel to the fire? Okay, like, but going to this thing is gonna add fuel, like, which is better, your peace bubble or
Right,
crazy town, right? So, and I think it's important to make sure that when you plan for your seasonal events with family, that you're taking into account who makes you feel crazy, who makes you feel toxic, who makes you feel unhealthy. Do you really want to be with them? And if you do, and if you, because there's other event pieces to it, then really outlining a plan for that moment, that day, that time, that event, or whatever it is, so that you take care of yourself because you're scheduling it for yourself,
yep.
right?
I
Um,
always talk about being stingy about my mental energy, and that's just basically valuing your own peace, valuing your own understanding that sometimes that takes priority.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And so so when you take on self-care and you make a there goes my voice again. Sorry. So when we speak about self-care, um, making that schedule for yourself and really aligning your priority time and then aligning how, much time you're going to spend at an event with family or a conflictual kind of thing. Or I tell people, bring buffers, you know, have people with you that can be around you that are softeners of certain things, that know situations that can help with those situations
the
by being,
kids, bring the kids.
yeah, bring kids if you have them.
Yeah,
And also making a schedule for yourself that's not out of this crazy world of shopping, baking, cleaning, you have to make sure that you take time for yourself. People get into this whole mode of like, I've got to clean the whole house, like never like it's been done before at Christmas. And it's like, it's insane when people get into this like mode, and it's not necessary because, again, put it in perspective. It's just another day.
Yep.
It's a nice day. It can be a very nice day, or Hanukkah can be nice days in a row, but you don't have to do all this extra work. I mean, if you want to do some of it, sure, but you don't have to go to the point where you get yourself sick or get yourself so upset that, after the holidays, I get these reports often about people saying, "Oh, it was such a letdown."
Yeah.
It's like at Thanksgiving dinner, we all sat down and I noted the time, and 18 minutes later, one was done. And I was like, well, that was like,
18 minutes. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, 18 minutes later, everyone was done. I'm like, huh.
It's 100 calories a minute.
I didn't think of it that way, but I was laughing because I was like, wow, that took like 3 days of prep. 3 days of prep for 18 minutes of it's over.
I also think with family trauma, I think it's also important to note that the family trauma can be optional as well. You can show up and not participate in a trauma. In
Well,
fact,
and
there's
yeah,
probably somebody in your family who's very good at that. Stick with them.
exactly.
Yeah.
And exactly. And those are your allies, and that
Uncle
don't.
Bob usually finds a corner somewhere and stays out of all the hassle. Go sit with Uncle Bob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how you can take care of yourself. And also finding, if playing with the kids, if there's kids at an event, or
Yep.
if you're into like the football games or things
Football.
on,
Yeah. God
going,
bless
you
football.
know, and I know a lot of women now are watching football. I mean, obviously I do because I'm
Yep.
invested in it for my work, but so that's an easy one for me. But a lot of people weren't doing that before, but a lot more people are doing that now. So it actually helps with the buffers. But I'm a big time limit setter, especially with
Yeah.
people who have a lot of family trauma or family conflict, of just saying like, I'm coming for, if dinner's at 2, show up at 1:30, stay, do the thing if you have presents or whatever, and then just be like, I have to be gone by like 5:36 or something, so it's a very short window so that the conflict can't come up and it can't be too triggering. Also saying no, that I can't make it this year. I mean, kids I know are a good excuse for saying no. I think, if you talk to most child psychologists, and I'm not a child psychologist, I'm clinical, but I always recommend that if you have children, people should come to you, and
Yep.
you have to make them go over to their other people's houses, because the holidays really for kids.
Right.
And when you have little ones and it's that whole time of year for, the excitement and all that, don't have them open up their gifts, rush them through, and then drag them out to, Auntie
Yeah.
Sue's house to dress them up and baby doll them and then make them sit there and do nothing all day. I mean, that's just not healthy.
Well,
And
this is back to not necessarily being attached to the day. In other words, if you want to spend Christmas with your kids and have dinner with, you get two sets. If you have kids, you probably have two sets of parents and two
right,
dinners that you have to go to. Set it for the day before or the day afterwards or that weekend or something. Should be
exactly.
fun. People have to accept that, especially when you have kids, because it's about the kids.
And you have multiple different families, and you have multiple different friends and all that. That's why I say that saying no, or saying, we're going to celebrate together first and then we'll come to the family's houses like the next day. I mean, those are important opt-outs that you have the right to say, and people often don't give themselves the permission because they don't really think it's an option. And just saying like, we're going to stay in for the day, but we're going to do things this, Friday or Saturday, so we're available.
Yep.
And on those days that you opt out, if you do decide to opt out and just do your own family or your own couple thing or whatever that is, don't go into a whole elaborate thing. Do your own thing. If you want to have a Netflix marathon, if you want to binge watch a great show, if you want to, watch Christmas Story all day,
Yep.
whatever it is, just be like, this is all I want to do, and I think I've said last year on my podcast when I was talking about this stuff, like everyone in my household was always like, we had to dress up. It was like the patent leather, talk about dating myself, right? Too. Patent leather shoes, the dress, the whole thing, the bows in the hair. Oh my God. Right. And the velvet, green dress for Christmas. And oh my God.
Yep.
And now I'm like, pajamas are good.
Very
Pajamas are good. Shower, but fun pajamas. This year's theme is wicked.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I had to bring it back to you, Lou. So, sit in your Wicked pajamas or your Harry Potter pajamas or you do whatever and just
Get
chill
your
out.
wicked Dunkins and you're all set.
And your Wicked Dunkins and you're fine. Right. Exactly. So, anyway, so in terms of this, regardless of your plans, it can be helpful to make sure that you communicate your intentions to your friends, to your family right now, today,
Yep.
about what you are doing or what you expect or the best you can to this level so that you can really manage for yourself and take empowerment for yourself. It's always about the year of you and how to really manage it for yourself, not in the selfish way, but just about what's realistic so that you're not overwhelming your system and you're not getting sick. Now, the next part is about giving gifts, Lou.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, your
It is
favorite
the
part, right?
problem. Yeah.
So it's really common, obviously, to get caught up in the commercialization of, I call it sorry, Hallmark. Poor Martha's doing Hallmark today. The Hallmark holiday scenarios, right? To get caught up in all the marketing of the holidays because it comes out in like late September, early October, and people get stressed out right away about spending on like already strained budgets or trying to find just the right gift or
Yeah.
you know, and again, going back to people that are like, how much are you going to spend? If you spend this much, I have to spend that much. Like, that's not normal and that's not healthy for people to do. If you set a limit of like everyone's spending $50 on each other, fine. But give a gift to give a gift. Don't give a gift because you're giving it to meet a certain expectation of monetary value or you have to have the big gift. Give what you can, not what you think others will expect of you. And if they're disappointed, that's going to say something more about them than you. Um,
Yeah, but you still
no,
gotta do
I know a lot of people that have people in their lives that get disappointed and it can be very pouty at Christmas because they didn't get what they wanted or what they thought they were supposed to get or should get and all these things. It's like, hmm,
yeah.
hmm. I have so many things I could say about this, but it's too personal. Um, but and the other thing on a more like broad, generalized global issue here is like when we're looking at like the commercialization of giving gifts, right now, especially advertisers are taking advantage. I mean, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, I don't even know what Sunday was, Cyber Monday, we're in extended Cyber Monday Wednesday now. I'm sure there's some day that's named after today. Like, so you're getting bombarded with like spend money, do
Yep.
more, give
Right.
more, and you lose perspective really quickly and you lose your bank account really quickly because you don't remind yourself that you're creating so much anxiety because something gets fed to you through your screen and and giving to others, and this is very hard, giving to others is not about spending money, and what goes along with it is setting those realistic expectations to maintain your budget and being transparent about it. I set up a very transparent thing this year of like I said, the Bank of Kim is closed this year. I said that like 6 months ago. I said Christmas is on the Bank of Kim is closed this year. So I just made sure, and they've all been laughing at me like, sure. I'm like, no, so just because I want to set an expectation that things are getting as children get older, things get smaller in terms of not monetary, but less amount of things. So if
Yeah.
you want one big thing, you're more likely to get one big thing and one little thing than 25 things under the tree kind of
Right.
thing. Right. So but it's funny because their faces are like, what does that mean? you know? So when you're doing that, it's like really consider how much money you can comfortably spend and stick to the amount. That's the whole thing of like the bank of you is closed. So if it's closed, that doesn't mean it's shut down. It just means that, just stick to the comfortability spend level that you can. Don't put yourself um in a debt January 1st that
Right.
you don't need. And so if you're purchasing gifts for everybody, you know, if you have big families, often, do secret Santas or do, the exchange, or, the different exchanges to reduce the number of items that people would need to buy. Or, some people I know that are financially strapped this year. I've said, don't give a gift that you buy, make something,
Yeah.
bake something, contribute to the dinner, do something like that that's bigger, or offer something. And I'm very big on, with kids, don't give gifts, give experiences.
Yeah.
Tell them that, give a couple little things that might be associated with the experience, but kids don't remember gifts. If you ask a kid, and you can see this done over and over again, if you ask kids what they got last year for Christmas from Santa Claus, most kids can't tell you.
No.
Most
They
kids
only
will,
remember till they open the next gift too.
and they'll remember something sometimes, and it's usually something that was like 2 years prior. Like, they'll remember different things, but they don't really remember. But when you say, when we went to Disney World, or when we went to Great Wolf Lodge, or when we went to the Boston Common for the light show, and they will remember that for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you're doing. Experiences are much more the memory makers, and then it gets you out of more stuff in your house, toys everywhere, and it actually can be more cost effective than putting all that stuff out. So, um, you know, doing that is a big um, change for people. And I think it's a trend that's happening more and more too, that you don't need to buy things,
Right.
just simply let people know that you're going to do like a vacation or something like that. Also, writing things that are personal to people, doing like a lovely note, like I said at the beginning of the show, giving a lovely note to someone, giving a framed photo of something, or drawing, or if you're an artist, drawing, or artistic, drawing a picture or something like that. Doing something like that is more personal. I know a lot of people in the past couple of years, since the pandemic, have taken up knitting and cross stitching and like the dot art thing, and like, do something like that. Make candles, do something if you have time. Obviously, this goes back to the looping thing of, well, if
Right.
you don't have time, then you won't be able to do it. But you can be creative with your time and your efforts, so that you don't have to put yourself in a financial strait. um Also
I was
encourage
just reminiscing, the pandemic Christmas was so good, wasn't
yeah, because you didn't have to be with family.
it? Yeah.
Well, you
But you
did,
can
but
have
not
the pandemic Christmas without the pandemic too. Just,
Mhm.
prioritize yourself a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and prioritizing yourself too is in terms of the experience. I was just talking to clients about this the week before Thanksgiving, is giving the gift of getting your friends, family, kids, whoever involved in helping out in the community, doing something that's not just Christmas at home for you, but doing something like um, helping a neighbor, a friend, a stranger. If you have like a lot of churches and synagogues right now have a lot of the family drives. Like, you can pick a family and help them out during the holidays. Good morning, B. And just really quickly, lots of thoughts and prayers for B's husband.
Oh,
He's been ill, and so lots of thoughts and prayers and good vibes and energy out into the world. Um, because and I will. She's um and so when you do an act of giving, you're also teaching. Obviously, if you have kids, you're teaching that act of
yeah.
giving is more important than a present, which I think is huge, so that you don't raise narcissistic adults.
Yep.
And the giving spirit is about that, not about the dollar amount. And then generosity in and of itself, because you have that authenticity and uh, altruism. You're giving to give, not to receive, because you're focusing on others and less on yourself. And I try to live that way, and doing all my philanthropic work during the year. So I'm a big proponent of, do experiences, and also get your family and friends out there to help in the community. For years, I would run, like a race on Thanksgiving morning or Christmas or whatever, and we would always they give you pies. And so when we would drive home, I'd always give a pie like to the police officer sitting in the edge of the like driveways of places and stuff, and they'd always be so surprised. So just do little nice things that are unexpected, because that helps with your holiday spirit. um and and then uh in terms of in terms of the fact that we have this weather pattern and we've just gotten hit with snow. This is the other stressor that comes this time of year, that we don't have a lot of sunlight and it's affecting your mood. So on top of all this stress and all these things going on in this last month
Yep.
before we start getting like more sunlight time, because in a few weeks we start regaining more sun, you got to try to get as much light as possible. I'm a big advocate for getting light boxes. There's a great company that I'm not gonna promote because I've been giving them lots of business and I get nothing for it. But if you want to know, you can certainly send me a text or an email. But getting a light box or boosting your mood through making sure you get up earlier, so that you're up with the sun and that you're on the same sleep cycle. Because I talked about this a few months ago. If you start falling asleep earlier in the evening with the darkness, you're setting your circadian rhythm off. So making sure you stay up your normal later time, but getting up with the light so you have as much light as possible. Working by windows, staying in the lit area, and outfitting your home with brighter lights. If you don't have a light box or you can't afford the light boxes, because this time of year incorporates a lot of candles and sparkly lights and all those kinds of things. Put those around because that actually helps you.
Yeah.
Because they did all these studies during the pandemic, if you remember, of people putting up their Christmas trees and lights and candles and all these things early because they needed some kind of like feeling of excitement and hope.
Right.
So the more light, right, we know that it stimulates the brain and it stimulates the neurotransmitters in the brain so that it will feel that our our bodies aren't like hunkered down and just like vegetating inside the house and getting stagnant.
Yeah,
You
just mixing up your setting helps so much. I mean, I always kind of dread the whole Christmas decorations, but when it's done, it's like, oh, that's cool. Just a little change. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's cool. I love that, Lou. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yes. Um, yes, it is. Well, and it lifts the mood, and we know that it lifts the mood. Um, so and in terms of the mood, just rolling into like that feeling of loneliness and sadness again, is that if you're feeling alone and isolated, we do have friends and family, most of us. And if we don't, there are so many things out there for people, and you just have to reach out to places. There are places for people that will help you. You don't have to be just a senior citizen to get help or to be around people that would be a group that's put together. You can it is hard to reach out to others, but there are people and places, and that's why I'm so pushing all year long of like finding activities, getting involved, being with groups, finding your community so that you have at least a few people in your life to reach out to. And obviously, senior citizens, if they live in like bigger, larger apartment complexes, or if they live in senior centers, like senior living, they
Mhm.
have more of an advantage to having more connection. But even then, people will isolate. So being able to remind yourself that you need connection. Don't isolate more when you're already feeling down, or you're feeling maybe the grief and loss of something, or you're feeling that this is that time of year where it just goes stagnant. Considering um, all those things, try to make a reach out plan for a couple days a week. Try to go to lunch with someone, try to make dinner plans, or go to a movie, at least once or twice a week, so that you're making an effort to get yourself out of that. Now that's the antithesis of people who are too busy and have too much social connection, right? Because then you have both sides of that
Yeah.
coin, is that you're having to do both of those things. So being mindful that if you're in that, take advantage of any kind of way to connect. And that would be where sending holiday cards, because then people are more likely to send you a holiday card, communicating with other people as much as you can. Um, I hate to say go on social media, but there's a lot of like, if you have a good feed, you're not in a
Yes.
rat hole feed. Social media has some nice holiday things on it, and like sort of things to ideas for calming activities and things to go out and do. And um, meditation. If you have different TV channels now, they have like all kinds of really cool meditation channels and uh, ways to interact with AI. By the way, be careful of AI during the holiday season, because AI now is as much as it's probably a great technology for a lot of things, it's false advertising. So many things out there that will pull
Yeah.
you in psychologically, and it will take away from your self-care, and a lot of people will get taken in financially because there's a lot of AI stuff coming out right now for like purchasing bogus products, getting self-help care, bogus self-help products that are like for GLP-1s. Be mindful for people that are wanting to lose weight in the new year, or vitamins or these quick fix things, and they're getting celebrities on sort of a tangent here, but be really careful because they're marketing out right now psychologically to people who are looking to be their best selves, their new you, the reduce all these things, cure this and cure that. And they're using AI to do it. And they're actually false advertising and doing a lot of that stuff. So be really mindful of those things, because that will come January, February, when you realize maybe you've been taken financially for a big hit for some chunk of money for some beauty cream or some
Yep.
drinkable there's no drinkable GLP-1s. People have been saying, "Oh, did you see this thing?" I'm like, "That's not a thing."
Yep.
That's not a thing yet. It may come, but that's not a thing yet. So because
We're
AI
at
is
the point, aren't we, where you have to assume AI unless you know differently and be skeptical.
yeah, especially if it's a celebrity endorsing it. And if it's, I just had someone this morning ask me, they sent me a screenshot of a vitamin company that said it was rated #1. And I wrote them back and said, I've never heard of them. And now there's many companies out there and I've heard of many. So I didn't even look them up because whatever, but I said, I've never heard of them. I
Yep.
have 17 people on GLP-1s right now in my practice. And I've never heard of them. And just because they say they're rated #1 and they've got all this stuff behind it doesn't mean they are.
Yep.
And
Buyer
so
beware.
yes, and so I said I would do and I didn't say no. I just said do a deeper dive on the reviews on that, and don't do a review, because they'll put out their own reviews.
Sure.
You have to go to something totally separate and see what people are saying, because there's so much out there. And if you're a TikToker, or if you're an Instagrammer, or if you're on Reels from YouTube and stuff, and you see all these promotions, they're just marketing heavy this month on your psychology. And be
Yep.
mindful that they're marketing on your heavy psychology use of wanting to make sure you meet those expectations for people, and you want to look the best, and you're coming into the new year and the new you kind of thing, and they're going to market towards you. And that will make you potentially fall into all the traps that I've talked about today. And that will just make you feel worse come the midwinter.
Yep.
So anyway, so there's my start of what to do about some of these things coming into the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Before I
So,
let you go, what's your
yeah.
Christmas movie?
What's my Christmas movie?
Yeah, what's the one you have to watch every year?
Christmas Story.
Yeah, it's a
Christmas
good one.
Story. Yeah. You'll shoot
I'm
your
a
eye out.
I'm a White Christmas guy.
Oh,
I like to watch those guys.
it's hard. Well, White Christmas is, I'm from Vermont, so I love White
Yeah,
Christmas, but all the Christmas movies are pretty awesome. I love them. I've already seen Elf a whole bunch. I love Polar Express. People think it's
Elf is
creepy.
good,
I
yeah.
love Polar Express. Elf can be looping all day and I would be fine. I just think it's hysterical. Will Ferrell is just a riot.
Yep.
So, um, they're all so good.
He's an
Christmas
angry elf.
Christmas Vacation. I mean,
Christmas Vacation is awesome, yeah.
Nick Wade in that is just a riot. So there's so many good ones, but Christmas Story is also good. So
Wonderful Life, but I've actually seen it too much. I don't it's good. I don't need to see it anymore, though.
I usually watch it once a year because
Yeah.
it's long. It's a long movie.
Yep.
However, just so you know, Wicked has been out for less than 2 weeks, and I've been to the movies 5 times.
Seen it 5 times
I
already.
have. I saw it the Monday before it came out, Wednesday, Thursday, and then over Thanksgiving.
The numbers are incredible.
I
What
know,
they're doing, they're incredible.
because it's so good.
That's not what the reviews are saying, but that's okay.
The reviews, who cares what the reviews say? The money in the bank,
The
there's a
money back,
reason there's a reason why. It's not because of the reviewers. You have to get the story. The reviewers don't get it. They're too
yeah.
simple. They're too simple. They overthink. It's a beautiful story. So anyway, so you guys, so we're going to get ready and talk about lots more things coming into the new year, because we're moving forward and we're not stopping. We're just going forward, but make sure you're pushing through strong this month and not letting your guard down. And don't just say, well, it's Christmas time and it's the holidays, so I can eat and be crazy and run around and get 10 pounds gained and
Yeah, take
lose
care
my
of yourself.
mind and not take care of myself and drink too much and get into conflicts and all that stuff. Like let's keep it on the rails.
Keep it on the rails.
Let's
Exactly
keep it
right.
on the rails.
Yep.
Right? We've had such a good year in the year of you. Let's keep it on the rails. So, all right, you guys, I will see you next week, making sure I don't have a cold again. Maybe I'll
Let's
be in
hope.
studio.
Yep. Excellent.
All right, you guys, take care.